Ella and Samuel were two best friends who had grown up together in a small town in the middle of nowhere. They had been inseparable since they were children and had always been there for each other through thick and thin. However, their close bond was about to be tested in ways they never could have imagined. One summer evening, Ella and Samuel were walking home from a movie theater when they saw a clown standing on the side of the road. At first, they thought it was just a harmless prankster, but as they got closer, they realized that there was something sinister about this clown. Its eyes were dark and empty, and its smile was twisted into a malevolent grin. As they walked past, the clown turned and followed them, its steps slow and measured. Ella and Samuel quickened their pace, but the clown kept pace with them, its grin never faltering. Eventually, the clown disappeared into the shadows, and Ella and Samuel breathed a sigh of relief. However, the relief was short-lived. The next day, they woke up to find that the clown had left a note on their doorstep from the clown, stating that he was coming for them. Ella and Samuel were terrified. They had no idea who this clown was or what it wanted from them. They tried to go about their daily lives, but the fear was always lurking in the back of their minds. Days turned into weeks, and the clown seemed to be everywhere they went. It would appear outside their school, at the local diner, and even outside their homes. Each time they saw it, the clown's grin would widen, and they would feel its dark energy washing over them. As the weeks turned into months, the clown's behavior became more aggressive. It would stalk them, appearing at all hours of the day and night. They tried to tell the police, but they were dismissed as overreacting or making it up. Ella and Samuel were at their wits' end. They couldn't sleep, they couldn't eat, and they were constantly on edge. They knew that they had to do something to stop the clown before it was too late. One day, Samuel came up with a plan. They would lure the clown to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town and try to unmask it. They knew that it was risky, but they felt like they had no other choice. That night, they set their plan in motion. They left a trail of breadcrumbs for the clown to follow and then hid inside the warehouse, waiting for it to arrive. As they waited in the darkness, their nerves frayed, and their hearts pounding, they suddenly heard the sound of footsteps outside. They tensed, waiting for the clown to appear. But what they saw when it did appear was even more horrifying than they could have ever imagined. The clown was carrying a large axe, its blade glinting in the dim light. Its eyes were burning with an otherworldly rage, and its grin was twisted into a grotesque sneer. Without warning, the clown lunged at them, swinging the axe with all its might. Ella and Samuel managed to dodge the first blow, but they knew that they couldn't avoid it forever. In a moment of desperation, Ella grabbed a nearby pipe and swung it at the clown's head. It connected with a sickening crack, and the clown stumbled backward, dropping the axe. But it was too late. The damage had already been done. As they made their escape, the clown's haunting final words echoed in their ears. Words that declared his intention to hunt them until the end. Ella and Samuel barely made it out of the warehouse alive. They stumbled out into the street, gasping for breath, their bodies battered and bruised. The clown was gone, but they knew that it was only a matter of time before it returned. They decided to go to the police again, but this time they were taken seriously. The police launched an investigation, but they could find no evidence of the killer clown. It was as if it had vanished into thin air. Ella and Samuel were left to live with the aftermath of their encounter. They were haunted by the memory of the clown, its twisted grin and malevolent energy. They were constantly looking over their shoulders, waiting for it to appear again. One day, Samuel received a package in the mail. It was wrapped in plain brown paper, with no return address. When he opened it, he found a single note inside. Upon reading the note that was left on their doorstep, the realization hit them like a ton of bricks. The chilling word death was scrawled on the note, and in an instant, he knew that it was from the killer clown they had encountered. Samuel was terrified. He knew that the clown had found him and that it was only a matter of time before it came for him again. He desperately tried to reach Ella to warn her about the note, but to his dismay, he couldn't get in touch with her. As panic set in, he realized that Ella might already be in danger and that time was running out. As Samuel tried desperately to call Ella, he was met with the ringing tone and still no answer. Little did he know, Ella was in the shower at that moment, completely unaware of what was going on. Samuel was in a sense of panic and rushed to go to Ella's house. However, as he was walking, his heart racing with fear, he couldn't shake off the feeling that he was being followed. The sound of his footsteps seemed to echo louder than usual, and every shadowy corner seemed to hide a lurking danger. And then he saw the clown standing on the side of the road. Its grin was wider than ever, its eyes burning with a malevolent energy. Samuel tried to run, but the clown was too fast. It caught him and dragged him into an alleyway, its laughter ringing in his ears. Ella never saw Samuel again. She searched for him, but he had vanished without a trace. She knew in her heart that the clown had taken him, that it had finally claimed its final victim. From that day on, she was haunted by the memory of her friend, and by the knowledge that the clown was still out there, somewhere, waiting to strike again. Days turned into months, but the memory of the clown was always there, lurking in the back of her mind. She knew that it was only a matter of time before it came for her, that it would never be satisfied until it had claimed all of its victims. And one day, as Ella was sitting alone in her house, she heard a knock at the door. She opened it, and there it was, the killer clown, its grin wider than ever, its eyes burning with a malevolent energy. Ella tried to run, but the clown was too fast. Tragically, Ella's fate was sealed as she was caught off guard and struck in the head by the killer clown's axe. Blood gushed from her wound, and despite her valiant efforts to fight back, she ultimately succumbed to her injuries and passed away. The next morning, the police arrived and began their investigation into Ella's disappearance. To their shock and confusion, there was no sign of Ella's body, and no blood on the floor, as if she had vanished into thin air. The lack of evidence only added to the mystery and horror of the situation, leaving the police and her family with more questions than answers. And that was how Ella died, at the hands of the killer clown. Her friends, her family, and the town that she had grown up in would never forget her tragic end, or the horror that had claimed her life. The killer clown would go on to claim more victims, its cheerful and playful appearance hiding the true malevolent intentions that lurked within its twisted soul.